Good morning everybody and welcome back to the 10th episode of the LEGO Legend of Zelda Custom Set Showcase Wave 8 based off Tears of the Kingdom, where every time we take a look at a new custom set based off the Zelda series. And today is no different with Z071 with 203 pieces. This is the defying Master Kohga, which actually doesn't look pretty interesting here, but our figures are the saving grace for this small pocket money playset. Now it's also important to mention out that this marks halfway through our Tears of the Kingdom custom set journey, and after this week we will be taking a week off in a sense before I prepare the trailer for the remaining 8 sets that we haven't seen. So if your favourite moment from the game is still missing, don't worry, those sets are complete and coming. But I hope you enjoyed what we have today, and I will see you in those 8 sets soon. But this set is for ages 8 and up, 203 pieces retailing for £14.99 Great British pounds, with 2 figures and 1 brick built character. Let's take a look at the description and then we'll open up the box. Face the indestructible Master Kohga and his collection of crazy contraptions in the LEGO Legend of Zelda set. Watch out for the spikes and take control of Master Kohga's vehicles to save the forged construct and gain access to his shop. Buy crystallized charges to make it out of the depths and put a stop to Kohga's evil schemes once and for all. The fate of the world lies in your hand. And what fate do we have inside this box? It's 2 numbered bags, 2 instruction manuals split out to build together. Of course, the first one building Kohga's car, and that is bag 1, and you get your Champion's Leathers Link, a figure that has been reused from the Lookout Landing set, rightfully so. Good to have the main outfit in a cheap set too, and of course a Kohga figure. And well, this is the first time we've seen this figure. It's actually not the first time it's been produced. It is appearing in a Wave 5 set. Then our second manual talks about all of these side builds. You build your steward construct, the shop, and the forge. All pretty simple builds, but again, this is a smaller pocket money set. So let's take a look at what it has to offer. So taking a look at the 3 main components here, let's start with Kohga's car. Of course, this is based off the first encounter, and unfortunately the vehicles for the second, third and fourth are not included. However, we will talk about that very soon. You can see that this car is actually longer. It's built using that large base chassis piece around the back, and you can see a couple of slopes to make the ramp, which you would indeed climb up if this was in-game in a sense. And that's how you're going to reach Kohga. Of course, the wheels would have the prints on, the same as the Zonai wheels that have appeared in other sets throughout the wave. You've got some profiling bricks on the side to recreate sort of the wooden texture and the slopes. At the top there's a build for a steering stick, and round the front you've got 2 headlights on a spiked plate, which is just done using various slopes. This of course gives the illusion it's a giant spiked platform that would be coming at Link. Now we're actually going to come back to this in a minute because there are a couple of additions that you could make to this model, but first let's focus about what's just included for straight up. So next up, the build here is the shop. This is done using some masonry bricks in light bluish grey, the same colour we've been using for all the Zonai architecture, and just represents these shelves where you can buy Zonai charges or crystallized charges. So you can see using the pyramid piece in light blue on the shelves onto the right, and you could just pick them up and buy them. Just a simple shop play feature on this corner plate. You've got a blue egg at the top representing those Zonai lamps. We use the same build on Z074, the Great Sky Island. And then over on the left you've got 3 of these orbs, which are the same print that Robbie came with in Lookout Landing for Zonai charges, which again can be purchased here on this shelf, so they would have some printing on it. You can see down below, of course, there's just a couple of studs for you to stand, put a figure that may be deciding what he wants to buy. And then we move on to our third build, which is a little bit of the forge section that are found in the mines throughout the depths, which of course are where the Kohga encounters take place. This is also a little bit of scenery for our steward construct. Over on the left hand side you can see we have a slope in orange to represent the lava flow coming down from the back into the trough, which is pretty realistic to the game if I do say myself. You've got a 1x8 tile along the top to secure it all together, and then over on the right hand side you have a crate with a shovel, which the steward construct can hold, or I should say forge construct, they're actually the same design. And then a variety of slopes here using dark orange, medium nougat, and then the black, turquoise and black build that we've been using to represent Zonai in the Frock set, in Lookout Landing, all over the place. This is a build that's appearing across the Tears of the Kingdom wave, and it's here ready to be mined, just like how the pile looks in game. As I mentioned, of course, you've got the lava flow coming down, but around the back, not much, apart from a crate. Of course, in this crate, you could store stuff like the shovel or the zonite that's being processed. Imagine that you just fill it up and then cart it away, maybe on a vehicle. So you've got a bit of a mine setup play, potentially, with Kohga's car. Unfortunately, nothing else around the back. Maybe a place for the steward construct to hide or charge, but otherwise, this build is all about the front. Now, as a set on its own, this one isn't super exciting. However, personally, I am quite fond of it. However, there are a couple of extra features that I haven't talked about. You can combine this set with a couple of other different pieces, and while unfortunately it does not have a secret stone or a banner, it can connect with 0077, the Ultra and Creativity Toolbox, to soup up Kohga's car. Of course, during later phases of the fight, he adds wooden panels to the side to make it harder for you to hit him, and that can be recreated using the wooden panels that you would see in, in that set that I mentioned. Furthermore, that set obviously came with a variety of Zonai devices, including rockets, wings, and fans, meaning you could soup up the car or even just recreate the plane or boat sections of the fight as if you were at a different mine, which is a really good reason to go out and buy that set. I told you that set would be coming back and being used all over the place. My personal favourite is to add the wooden panels because it's accurate, but also to put rockets on the side so it can charge across the arena at you. But that's not all. There's another set that can of course connect, and that is, it doesn't have a number right now because it's coming in wave 6, and that is the set that we released for the trailer, which is the Battle Talus, which contains the car from the Tears of the Kingdom 2022 trailer, and of course those two could go head to head and they could have a proper vehicle duel, and that will be again repeated with the, technically you could also do it with the Zonai Creativity Toolbox because you could build a car in that, but the idea is that you could put two cars head to head and you could have a duel that way. Not to mention, I'm sure at some point a certain fan favourite robot will be showing up, and of course you could modify that using pieces from across the wave to create Kohga's mech from the 4th fight as well, although that's getting a little bit spoilery now. I can't believe how far through the game we're getting. Anyway, let's take a look at some figures. First up, we have Link in his champion leathers. As I mentioned, this is a figure we've seen before, and given that it's the showpiece figure for the series, or this wave I should say, it is highly detailed. Here's the dual molded legs with the tunic printing going onto them, two dual molded arms with dark blue at the bottom and the correct printing up above, all the straps going across, and a thin Mandalorian style short dark grey cape to match the Hylian hood being in the down position. We've got the same hairpiece that we've been using since wave 1 to great effect, and a broadsword in dark bluish grey. Just good to get a figure like this in a cheaper set as well as the expensive one, because exclusive figures in expensive sets for iconic characters and outfits is never a good thing, and of course it's just nice to be able to reuse him really. Next up, of course, we have Master Kohga, who obviously is using the head mold that I've designed for him for an earlier set. However, this is his first appearance. I know that's still very confusing. Otherwise, the detail still progresses down onto the legs, single molded this time just with good level printing, and then dual molded arms but with good stuff on the torso. I like the figure. No belly piece. I was tempted but decided to keep it just at molded heads. We've got to keep that mold budget down for the realism's sake. And then last up is the Forge Construct, who you may recognise from 0074. This is the Great Sky Island Steward Construct. It's the exact same build. We're using these same prints, these same stickers, and the same new molded piece. If you want to know more about my construct design process, go check out the video that I did on it a while back. But this guy is nice and straightforward, captures these shapes, and of course can help around the forge using those glove pieces to hold stuff like this shovel. Fantastic. Really big fan of this design. I still really love how the Steward and Forge constructs came out. That's actually all we've got to take a look at today because, as I mentioned, this is a small set. However, I think a worthy inclusion of a really memorable encounter. This is something that kids would remember from playing the game and would definitely want to own a section of. So, not really massable, but a nice small set that does manage to connect to the rest of the wave in more surprising ways. Now, as I mentioned, actually, that is the first 10. This was me part 1. Now, while, of course, the release schedule for an 18 sets like this was just extreme, the only reason that we've split it up is just to give me time to work on it. But I can confirm that the other 8 Tears of the Kingdom sets, featuring of course our other dungeons and the ending sequence along with a couple of other surprises, are all finished. All the figures are now drawn as of the time of filming this. So I'm putting together box arts, I'm putting together videos, and hopefully this won't be a longer than say a 2 or 3 week break. Next up, of course, we've got to have a look at everything I've missed. So we'll be going to go over these sets, doing some ranking and looking at the figures in the next couple of weeks, before of course jumping into that part 2 trailer. And I'm super excited because there's some stuff you haven't seen about these 10 sets and stuff that's coming up. There really is a wave of 18 and everything will finally piece together and connect. So super excited to share that with you. Of course, it's a little late to influence it, but let me know what you are hoping to see in the remainder of those sets down below. And in the meantime then, I will see you next week. Bye bye.